Alrighty. Time for a new game, I think. New game. Origins.
The chantry teaches us that it is the hubris of men which brought the Darkspawn into our world. The mages had sought to usurp heaven, but instead they destroyed it. They were cast out, twisted and cursed by their own corruption. They returned as monsters, the first of the Darkspawn. They became a blight upon the lands, unstoppable and relentless. The Dwarven kingdoms were the first to fall, and from the deep roads, the Darkspawn drove at us again and again, until finally we neared annihilation. Until the Grey Wardens came. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings. The Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness, and prevailed. It has been 4 centuries since that victory, and we have kept our vigil. We have watched and waited for the Darkspawn to return. But those who once called us heroes have forgotten. We are few now, and our warnings have been ignored for too long. May even be too late. For I have seen with my own eyes what lies on the horizon. Maker, help us all.
Gods above, I love this game. Background. The background you select will determine which 6 distinct opening stories you play through. It also affects how characters respond to you throughout the game. So, male or female? Of course I'm playing a girl. I always play a girl. Men and women in Ferelden are generally regarded as equals. Both genders are evenly represented in most organisations, noble houses and military forces. Dwarf. Rigidly bound by caste and tradition, the dwarves have been waging a losing war for generations, trying to protect the last stronghold of their once vast underground empire from the Darkspawn. Dwarves are very tough and have a high resistance to all forms of magic, thus preventing them from becoming mages. Their racial benefits are +1 to strength and dexterity, a +2 to constitution, and a 10% chance to resist hostile magic. Elf. Once enslaved by humans, most elves have all but lost their culture, scrounging and impoverished living in the slums of human cities. Only the nomadic Dalish tribes still cling to their traditions, living by the bow and the rule of their old gods as they roam the ancient forests, welcome nowhere else. Elves can be warriors, rogues, or mages. Racial benefits are +2 willpower and +2 magic. And human. The most numerous, yet the most divided of all the races. Only 4 times have they ever united under a single cause, the last being centuries ago. Religion and the chantry play a large part in human society. It distinguishes them culturally from elves and dwarves more than anything else. Humans can be warriors, rogues, or mages. Humans get the racial benefits of a +1 to strength, dex, magic, and cunning. Now to play a noble background, I would have the background of human noble, born to wealth and power second only to royalty. You find your training in both diplomacy and battle put to test as your brother leads the bulk of your family's forces to war in the south. Or, if I were to be a mage, which I'm not going to be, this is the origin I'm going to pick. Magi, wielding a power as dangerous as it is potent. You know that magic is a curse for those lacking the will to control it. You anxiously await your harrowing, the one chance to prove yourself against the demons lurking without and within. Succeed or be slaughtered by the knights who ward against your kind. It always brings chills. So, as an elfin, say, rogue. Oh, yes, I should go over the classes. Rogue. Rogues are skilled adventurers who come from all walks of life. All rogues possess some skill in picking locks and spotting traps, making them valuable assets to any party. Tactically, they are not ideal frontline fighters, but if rogues can circle around behind their target, they can backstab to devastating effect. Rogue specializations are Ranger, Bard, Duelist, and Assassin, and their class benefits are +4 to Dexterity, +2 Willpower, and +2 Cunning. A Warrior? Warriors are powerful fighters, focusing on melee and ranged weapons to deal with their foes. They can withstand and deliver a great deal of punishment, and have a strong understanding of tactics and strategy. Specializations for a warrior include Berserker, Templar, Champion, and Reaver. Their class benefits are +4 Strength, +3 Dexterity, and +3 Constitution. A Mage. As dangerous as it is potent, magic is a curse for those lacking the will to wield it. Malevolent spirits that wish to enter the world of the living are drawn to mages like beacons, putting the mage and everyone nearby in constant danger. Because of this, mages lead lives of isolation, locked away from the world they threaten. Specializations include Spirit Healer, Shapeshifter, Arcane Warrior, and Blood Mage. Class benefits are +5 Magic, +4 Willpower, and +1 Cunning. So, over to Elf. So the Elf Magi background and the Human Magi background have the same origin because you're basically kidnapped from youth. But as an elf, you have the option of being either a city elf if you play either a rogue or a warrior. So you, as a city elf, you've always lived under the heavy thumb of your human overlords. But when a local lord claiming his privilege with the bride shatters your wedding day, the simmering racial tensions explode in a rain of vengeance. Or a Dalish elf. Proud of your role as one of the few true elves, you've always assumed you would spend your life with your tribe, until a chance encounter with a relic of your people's past threatens to tear you away from everything you've ever known. And if we were to do a dwarf, you have 2 options for a dwarf. Dwarf Commoner. Born casteless in a land where rank is everything. Bound as the lackey and thug of a local crime lord, you've spent your life invisible, until chance thrusts you into the spotlight, where you can finally prove you will be defined by your actions or your birth. Or the Dwarven Noble. As the favoured child of the Dwarven King, you proudly take up your first military command, only to learn that the deadly intrigues of family and sycophants may pose a greater danger than even the battlefield. However, I am a slut with a human noble background, so that's
Greetings.
what we're going with. I would like... it's a good base. Let's start with you. I like that complexion actually. Vibe in the purple, like just that little bit purple, you know. Let's see. Oh god, the eyeshadows are so strong. Eyeshadow full dark. If I lighten that up a lot. There we go, now it's just like a smoky eye, not insane. No tattoos. Eyebrows. Those are my eyebrows. That's the one I want. Let's do a nose. Oh, sorry, eyes. No, the first ones were the best. A little bit on the bigger side. Not too much. A little bit on the bigger side. Medium, medium. I like that eye color. Depth is good. It's a nice brow height. No, first nose. First nose. A little bit larger nose. And a little bit. Central height is good. A bit wider of a nostril. Make the bridge a little more deep, that's it. Little, there we go. Bridge width. Tight. Yeah, like that. Tip like here. Just widen the bridge a little. Yeah, that feels realistic. every time. Back to hair. I always get this hair, so I should do something different for once. I mean, that's cute. That can work. Yeah, that's a nice colour. Portrait.
No, it is gone!
Greetings. Greetings.
Charmed.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Yes. I'm gonna go with bird names for this. For like this sequential series of playthroughs. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go with Dove for my warden, because my warden is me, so she's the little dove. Which is kind of funny because her father calls her Pup, but like, whatever. Dove. Dove Cousland. I like it. So let's put 2 in Constitution. Constitution represents health and resilience. Higher Constitution directly increases the amount of damage a character can take before falling on the battlefield. Cunning. Cunning determines how well a character learns and reasons. Most skills, such as herbalism or combat tactics, require a quick mind to master, and an observant eye can more easily find weaknesses in enemy armor. Rogues benefit the most from this statistic, as many other of their class abilities and special attacks rely on subtlety of reading the target, not raw strength. Give me one more. Magic. Magic is the measure of a character's natural affinity for the arcane. This attribute is crucial for mages, since it directly increases a character's spell power score, which determines the potency of all spells. The magic attribute also determines how effective potions, poultices, and salves are for all classes. Willpower. Yeah, one more for willpower. Willpower represents a character's determination and mental fortitude. With high willpower, mages can cast more spells thanks to a deeper mana pool. For warriors and rogues, willpower grants more stamina for combat techniques and special attacks. Dexterity. Dexterity is the measure of agility, reflexes, and balance. Higher dexterity improves the character's chances to hit, makes the character more likely to dodge incoming blows, and contributes to the damage dealt by piercing weapons like daggers or arrows. Archery and dual weapon fighting styles demand high dexterity to master, making this attribute a favourite for rogues. So that's getting another one up. And strength. Strength measures a character's physical prowess and directly affects the damage a character deals in physical combat. It also contributes to the accuracy of melee attacks. High strength is essential for warriors, in particular if they wish to wield two-handed weapons, and is nearly as critical for rogues. Actually, I already start with good dex. Yeah, that feels good. Coercion, because that's realistic for the background. I always pick luck, and I always get below the belt. Normal difficulty, and let's go.
For generations, your family, the Couslands, has stewarded the lands of Highever, earning the loyalty of your people with justice and temperance. When your country was occupied by the Orlesian Empire, your father and grandfather served the embattled kings of your land. Today, your elder brother takes up House Cousland's banner in service to the crown, not against the men of Orlais, but against the bestial darkspawn rising in the south.
I trust then that your troops will be here shortly.
I expect they will start arriving tonight, and we can march tomorrow. I apologize for the delay, my lord. This is entirely my fault.
No, no. The appearance of the Darkspawn in the south has us all scrambling, doesn't it? I only received the call from the king a few days ago myself. I'll send my eldest off with my men. You and I will ride tomorrow just like the old days.
True. Though we both had less grey in our hair then. And we fought all legions, not monsters.
At least the smell will be the same. I'm sorry, Pup, I didn't see you there. How? You remember my daughter?
I see she's become a lovely young woman. Pleased to see you again, my dear.
And you, Arl Howe.
My son Thomas asked after you. Perhaps I should bring him with me next time.
To what end?
Ha! To what end, she says. So glib, too. She's just like her mother when she talks like that.
See what I contend with, Howe? There is no telling my fierce girl anything these days. Make her bless her heart.
Quite talented, I'm sure. One to watch.
At any rate, Pup, I summoned you for a reason. While your brother and I are both away, I'm leaving you in charge of the castle.
I'll do my best, Father.
Now, that's what I'd like to hear. Only a token force is remaining here, and you must keep peace in the region. You know what they say about mice when the cat is away, yes? There's also someone you must meet. Please, show Duncan in.
It is an honor to be a guest within your hall, Dove Cousland.
Your lordship, you didn't mention that a Grey Warden would be present.
Duncan arrived just recently, unannounced. Is there a problem?
Of course not. But a guest of this stature demands certain protocol. I am at a disadvantage.
We rarely have the pleasure of seeing one in person, that's true. Pup, Brother Aldous taught you who the Grey Wardens are, I hope.
They're an order of great warriors.
They are the heroes of legend, who ended the Blights and saved us all. Duncan is looking for recruits before joining us and his fellow wardens in the south. I believe he's got his eye on Sir Gilmore.
If I might be so bold, I would suggest that your daughter is also an excellent candidate.
Honor though that might be, this is my daughter we're talking about.
Is there a reason I shouldn't join them?
You did just finish saying that Grey Wardens are heroes, old friend.
I've not so many children that I'll gladly see them all off to battle. Unless you intend to invoke the right of conscription.
Have no fear. While we need as many good recruits as we can find, I've no intention of forcing the issue.
Pup, can you ensure that Duncan's requests are seen to while I'm gone?
Of course.
In the meantime, find Fergus, and tell him to lead the troops to Ostagar ahead of me.
Where is Fergus?
Upstairs in his chambers, no doubt, spending some last moments with his wife and my grandson. Be a good lass and do as I've asked. We'll talk soon.
Get all of the DLC content out of the way. So, wests. The Couslands of Hyaber. Father's task. Find Fergus. Your father, Tyrn Bryce Cousland, and Arl Howe have been summoned by King Caelan to the battle at Ostagar. However, Arl Howe's forces have been delayed. That's us. You have been sent to tell your brother, Fergus, that he should leave for Ostagar ahead of your father. Fergus is probably in his room, saying goodbye to his wife and child. Oh. Soldiers Pass from the premium DLC content. Travel to Soldiers Pass. Journey to Salter's Pass, where a troubled merchant awaits with a deal that may just be too good to be true. We don't currently have any completed quests. Ah, the Codex. I don't need to read about the control part, but I do want to read the nits. Oh right, a feast day gift credits. Good credits. A lot of people did a lot of good work. So my plan is to like read out most of these things, but these things are not necessarily ones I'm going to read out because credits are definitely important, but at the same time I want to focus on the ones that are in character of what I would read, or what Dove would read in this context. Special thanks, all of the Dragon Age Origins team. Super cute. Characters. Duncan. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings, the Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness, and prevailed. Like many others, Duncan gave up his family name when he joined the ranks of the Wardens, a symbolic gesture of cutting ties. He might say this was a convenience in this case, however. His mother was from the Anderfels, his father from Tevinter. His childhood was spent in the Free Marches and Orlais. His people were everywhere, and his homeland was nowhere. He was given the almost impossible task of leading the Wardens in Ferelden, a kingdom that had thrown the Order out 200 years earlier. Facing local suspicion and hostility, he set about finding recruits. Arl Howe. It will be good to ride into battle once more, won't it, old friend? The Arling of Amaranthine winds along the sinuous northeastern coast of Ferelden. The waking sea is known for its temper, and the storms that sweep in from the warmer northern waters are sudden and brutal. These are the lands of Warden Howe. He was born during the occupation, and like many of the nobles of the time, joined Prince Maric's rebels. He fought alongside young Dove Cousland, future Tern of Highever, and Leonis Bryland, future Arl of Southreach, at the bloody Battle of White River. It was the most catastrophic defeat of the entire occupation, from which only 50 rebel soldiers escaped alive. Although he was decorated for valour by King Maric, Howe's abrasive manners have earned him almost universal dislike among his peers, and rightly heckin' so. Highever. Castle Highever has stood since the Divine Age, when it was not an independent Banorn, but merely an outpost of a growing Banorn of Amaranthine, in the days before Amaranthine became an Arling itself. The outpost of Highever was originally held by the Elston family, cousins of the Howes. In the Age of Towers, however, Ban Conobar Elstan was murdered by his wife, Flemeth, thus ending the bloodline. Conobar's captain of the guard, Sarum Cousland, took the lands and title. The Couslands declared their independence from Amaranthine, starting a war that lasted 30 years. When the dust finally settled, Highever was on its own and in possession of half the land that had once been southwestern of Amaranthine. Highever became a Ternia during the Black Age, when Helia Cousland gathered the lords together under her banner to drive the werewolves out of their lands, earning herself the title of Ternia almost as an afterthought. Today, Highever is only one of 2 remaining Ternias, making the Cousland family second in rank only to the king. From Ferelden, Folklore and History by Sister Petrine, Chantry Scholar.
Shouldn't you be off to your brother, as I asked?
Are you sure you'll be alright?
Your brother and I go into battle, not an afternoon tea. Who knows what will happen to us? I will tell you, however, you're my darling daughter. I love you, and I trust you completely to carry on the Cousland name if the worst should happen. But don't worry about me, dear girl. You'll have enough to occupy your mind while I'm gone.
Is Is sending all of our forces south a good idea?
When the king demands it. In fact, not sending our forces south would be a distinctly bad idea. Don't worry, pup. You shouldn't see many problems, but I want you to prepare the men left here. In case.
In case of what?
Legends of the Blights tell of horrible things. These darkspawn once threatened many lands. If we can't hold them, you must prepare for the worst.
I'll do my best, Father. I swear it.
I know you will. You are Arl Cousland, after all. But let's not speak of ominous things. We shall assume that all will go well, and the Maker will watch over us.
Where do you think Fergus is?
Upstairs in his chambers, no doubt. Saying goodbye to Oriana and your nephew.
I'll go now.
I'll talk to you soon. Just let me finish my meeting with Duncan.
Yes?
Your son is interested in me.
The topic has come up from time to time. The young and their infatuations.
I got the impression Thomas didn't like me.
I'm sure that was years ago. People change. To be honest, I have no expectations. And your father seems determined to let you find your own way. If something did happen, well, we'd address it as befits a family of our stature.
We'll see.
I'm sure there will be much to discuss once I return.
I trust the delay with your men is nothing serious.
Poor weather, I believe. Their progress has been slow, but it's nothing you need worry about.
You told my father the delay was your fault.
In a manner of speaking. If I had reinforced our border levies earlier, my troops could have left before the rains. I confess, my confidence in your father allowed me some complacency. I guess that makes it as much his fault.
How long have you and father been friends?
We fought together under King Maric when he drove the Orlesians out of Ferelden. Heady times. The years since have not held the same promise. It's not something a youth would understand. It will be good to ride beside your father again.
You knew King Maric?
Your father hasn't spoken of our time with him? That man took care of his friends. As they say, he was large as life and twice as tall. It's too bad Kaelin isn't half that.
You don't think much of King Kaelin.
I think of him as much as he thinks at all.
That's enough, Howe. You speak of our king.
The girl did ask, your lordship. As per the latitude you allow. I merely offered my opinion.
I just want to wish you well, Arl Howe.
I thank you. That is quite unnecessary.
Yeah, because you're about to murder my entire castle and loved ones, so of course it's quite unnecessary.
I'm sorry, but I believe your father wishes to talk to the Arl and myself alone.
May we speak later?
Your father has left you in charge of the castle? Then I will see you at dinner tomorrow, if not sooner.
I look forward to it.
As do I. Until then.
Alrighty. My home.
Good evening, milady. Good evening, milady.
Yeah, I don't need plot helpers. What do I need? Exploration. hold down the old tab key, see all the things. How God, I don't trust you.
Greetings, my lady. You are the Terran's daughter, are you not?
I am indeed Dove.
That is good to know. I understand you shall take charge of your father's castle once we march.
So I'm told, yes.
Ah, then I wish you luck. Good evening, my lady.
God, that conversation is so sus. Anywho. Also, can I just say, I love the outfits. Like, that boob window though. My home, however. My lovely, lovely home.
Very well.
Ah, a chest for me to steal from. Nothing else to loot in here. Bye. I'm about to
It
do a
will
ruler
be done.
here. It literally doesn't matter.
Very well.
There's
Yes.
Good evening, my lady.
good evening.
Good evening, my lady.
Good evening. Do all my looting before the castle get attacked. Gets attacked. And walk into a wall.
Yes.
We will serve you while the Terran is away.
We will serve you well while the Terran is gone.
Thank you. It is a shame you are about to be murdered.
There you are. Your mother told me the Terran had summoned you, so I didn't want to interrupt.
Why are you looking for me?
I fear your hound has the kitchens in uproar once again, and is threatening to leave.
She was my nanny before she was the cook. Nan won't leave.
Your mother disagrees. She insists you collect the dog, and quickly. You know these Mabari hounds. He'll listen to his mistress, but anyone else risks having an arm bitten off.
She knows better than to hurt anyone.
I'm not willing to test that. You're quite lucky to have your own Mabari warhound, you know. Smart enough not to talk, my father used to say. Of course, that means he's easily bored. Nan swears he confounds her just to amuse himself. At any rate, your mother would have me accompany you until the matter is settled, shall we?
Where is my mother exactly?
She was entertaining Lady Landra and her son when I left her. Perhaps in the atrium? Before we go, my lady, might I beg a question? I've heard from several people that a Grey Warden is here. Is that true?
His name is Duncan. I met him.
Then, is it also true that this Grey Warden was asking after me?
He intends to test you for recruitment.
Maker's breath, are you certain? Can you imagine me, a Grey Warden? It would be everything I've dreamed of. Of course, I shouldn't get ahead of myself. Pardon my outburst.
He would have been such a good Grey Warden. The Grey Wardens. The first blight had already raged for 90 years. The world was in chaos. A god had risen, twisted and corrupted. The remaining gods of Tevinter were silent, withdrawn. What writing we have recovered from those times is filled with despair, for everyone believed, from the lowest up from the greatest archons to the lowliest slaves, that the world was coming to an end. At Weissart Fortress in the desolate Anderfels, a meeting transpired. Soldiers of the Imperium, seasoned veterans who had known nothing their entire lifetimes except hopeless war, came together. When they left Weissart, they had renounced their oaths to the Imperium. They were soldiers no longer. They were the Grey Wardens. The Wardens began an aggressive campaign against the Blight, striking back against the Darkspawn, reclaiming lands given up for lost. The Blight was far from over, but their victories brought notice, and soon they received aid from every nation in Thedas. They grew in number as well as reputation. Finally, in the year 992 of the Tevinter Imperium, upon the Silent Plains, they met the Archdemon Dumat in battle. A third of all the armies of northern Thedas were lost to the fighting, but Dumat fell and the Darkspawn fled back underground. Even that was not the end. The Imperium once revered 7 gods: Dumat, Zazikel, Toth, Andoral, Razikael, Lusakan, and Urthamiel. 4 have risen as archdemons. The Grey Wardens have kept watch through the ages, well aware that peace is fleeting, and that their war continues until the last of the dragon gods is gone. From Ferelden, Folklore and History by Sister Patrine, Chantry Scholar. Just click through the old of the control ones. Couslands of Hyaba. Mischief in the larder. Get your trusty hound out of the larder. Sir Gilmore has come to you with a problem. In the kitchen, your dog is in the pantry, causing problems, and the cook wants you to deal with him. Sir Gilmore will join you while you deal with the matter.
Good evening, milady.
Nothing of interest is feeling here. Is that where I came from? That is the Mischief in the Larder quest. I came through there. I haven't gone to the chapel. I came around that way, so yeah, I came around that way. God, I always get confused at first in Hyaba, I swear. Hello, Mother.
And my dear Bryce bought this back from Orlais last year. The Marquis who gave it to him was drunk, I understand, and mistook Bryce for the king. Ah, here is my daughter, along with Sir Gilmore. Tell me, Sir Gilmore, has my pup collared that dog yet?
Not just yet, your ladyship.
Darling, do take care of that. That malodorous hound of yours is an excellent protector, but he drives Nan to distraction.
I'm sure they'll fight it out.
Don't give Mother a headache. Sir Gilmore, see that it gets done.
As your ladyship commands.
Good. With any luck, I'll be able to feed my guests before the end of next week. Darling, you remember Lady Landra?
I think we last met at your mother's spring salon.
Of course. It's good to see you again, my lady.
You're too kind, dear girl. Didn't I spend half the salon trying to convince you to marry my son?
And made a very poor case for it, I might add.
You remember my son, Dyron. He's not married yet either.
Don't listen to her. It's good to see you again, milady. You're looking as beautiful as ever.
You're looking handsome yourself.
And this is my lady-in-waiting, Iona. Do say something, dear.
It is a great pleasure, my lady. You are as pretty as your mother describes.
You would think that it would make it easier to make a match for her, not more difficult.
Perhaps your daughter simply has a mind of her own, your ladyship. You should be proud.
Proud doesn't get me any more grandchildren.
Perhaps we should speak alone sometime, Darian.
I would like that, milady.
I think perhaps I shall rest now, my dear. Dairon, I will see you and Iona at supper.
Perhaps we'll retire to the study for now.
Good evening, your ladyship. Sir Gilmore.
I dare say I can hear Nan shouting from here. Perhaps if you hurry, you can keep her from having a fit.
Get that bloody mutt out of the larder!
But mistress, it won't let us near.
If I can't get into that larder, I'll skin both of you useless elves, I swear it.
Calm down, good woman. We've come to help.
You and you! Your bloody mongrel keeps getting into my larder. That beast should be put down.
He's not a mongrel. He's a pureblood Mabari.
A blight wolf is what he is. How am I supposed to work like this?
Oh dear. Mistress, calm down, please.
That's it. I'll quit. Inform the turner. I'll go and cook at some nice estate in the Banorn.
Nan, please. We'll get the dog. Calm down.
Just get him gone. I've enough to worry about with a castle full of hungry soldiers. You two, stop standing there like idiots. Get out of the way.
There's my boy. Who's a good boy?
Oh, look at that mess. How did he even get in here?
He's my good boy. What a smart boy you are. Oh, yes, you are.
Oh, encourage the hound, why don't you? No wonder he keeps giving Nan fits. He does seem like he's trying to tell you something. Wait, did you hear that?
I am going to name my boy. So, obviously, the most pristine choice of name is Barkspawn. However, I am naming him Leto. Because, yes, Leto is such a good dog name, you know? I mean, it's also Fenris's probably birth name, but there we go. Dogs in Ferelden. I am frequently asked during my travels in other lands to explain the dogs omnipresent in Ferelden. Inevitably, I tell my foreign questioners that there are no more dogs in my homeland than in their own. In every civilized corner of Thedas, an astute observer will notice dogs employed in hunting game, keeping barns and storehouses free of vermin, herding livestock, guarding homes, and even used as beasts of burdens in the mountains. It is simply that Fereldans show appreciation for the work that our dogs do. And perhaps the reason for that is tangled up in mythology. Hafter, the first man named Tyrn, the hero who united our Alamari ancestors to drive back the Darkspawn of the Second Blight, was reputed to be the son of a werewolf. Now, perhaps this was meant to be some comment on his temperament, or simply a way of making a great man even larger than life, but more than half the noble families of Ferelden claim to be descendants of Hafter, and consequently, many of our people believe they have some distant kinship with wolves. It is only good manners to be polite to one's kin. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Genetivi. Creatures, Mabari Warhound. I should have some water first though. already gets your throat dry. Mabari Warhound. Dogs are an essential part of Ferelden culture. The dog is no more prized, and no dog is more prized than the Mabari. The breed is as old as myth, said to have been bred from the wolves who served Dane. Prized for their intelligence and loyalty, these dogs are more than mere weapons or status symbols. The hounds choose their masters and pair with them for life. To be the master of a Mabari anywhere in Ferelden is to be recognised instantly as a person of worth. The Mabari are an essential part of Ferelden military strategy. Trained hounds can easily pull knights from horseback or break lines of pikemen. And the sight and sound of a wave of war dogs howling and snarling have been known to cause panic among even the most hardened infantry soldiers. I love my dog. So, time to kill a bunch of giant rats.
Take these animals off.
Of course.
And stay away! Giant rats? It's like the start of every bad adventure tale my grandfather used to tell. Your hound must have chased them in through their holes. Looks like he wasn't raiding the larder after all.
So my hound put me in danger. Great.
You've certainly done the castle a favour by rooting them out. But seeing as you've got your Mabari well in hand, I'll be on my way. I'm to prepare for the arrival of more of the Arl's men.
Leto. The Mabari is clever enough to speak and wise enough to know not to. Ferelden proverb. Dove's warhound has a pedigree older than Highever and a penchant for driving cooks to distraction.
As you say.
And of course I am going to raid the larder.
Of course.
Because I am the daughter of the Tian of Highever.
There he is, as brazen as you please, licking his chops after helping himself to the roast, no doubt.
Actually, he was defending your larder from rats. Big ones.
What? Rats? Not the large grey ones?
They'll rip you to shreds, they will!
See, now you've gone and scared the servants. I expect those filthy things are dead.
My faithful warhound made sure it's safe.
Oh, I bet that dog led those rats into there to begin with.
Don't hurt my boy.
Oh, don't even start with the sad eyes. I'm immune to your so-called charms. Here then, take these pork bits and don't say that Nan never gives you anything. Bloody dog. Thank you, my lady. Now we can get to work. That's right, you two. Quit standing about.
And quest completed. Mischief in the larder. You've dealt with your dog and Sir Gilmore has gone back to his duties. And I feel that this is probably a good time to wrap up for today's episode. Because we've managed to complete an important quest.
We will serve you while the Terran is away.
We will serve you well while the Terran is gone.
Thank you again for your help. Now, if you'll just hold on a moment. Yes?
Do you know what...
Adney, get moving with those casts. And Kath, do you think you can serve that to the Terran with dirt from the floor all over it?
Miserable old bat.
Old bat, am I? We've got to work double time on supper, sweep out the hearths, and no complaining.
Busy day?
Just keeping order. That's why your father keeps me on. The good maker knows I needn't take care of you anymore. Thank you for coming to your old nanny's rescue. That blasted hound is more trouble than he's worth. He is. Don't start with me. You've gotten all you're getting today. But what about you, my lady? Been keeping safe and well behaved, I hope?
Why would I say anything but yes?
Ha! Clever whelp, that mouth of yours will get you into trouble one day. Do you remember that bedtime tale I used to tell you, the dog that bit?
I remember it.
Good. Then you can start.
Before our fathers' fathers came down from the mountains,
A warhound was born to the elder bitch of a tribal chief. They named him Hahaku and gave him everything. He grew up a fine, strong pup, destined to be the partner of the chief's eldest son.
and Hahaku grew prideful.
The young hound became arrogant, taking food from his kin and warning them, in the way of dogs, that the chief's family would punish them if they tried to attack him. Years passed, and the time for the chief's son to take a warhound came closer. Hahaku's pride swelled, and many of the people of the tribe came to the chief, quietly whispering of this dog's bullying. With each complaint, the chief saw only Hahaku's strength and pride, and sent his people away. But as his son grew, the chief watched more closely. The day might come when his boy's life would depend on this dog. If the humblest of his people would not trust Hahaku, how could he?
Hahaku's own misdeeds bit him.
When the day came, Hahaku sat proudly waiting to be called, but the old chief chose Hahaku's brother as his son's hound. Hahaku was shamed, but felt no remorse. So great was his rage that he darted across the fire pit and bit the chief's hand.
That was a mistake.
The chief and his son struck at Hahaku, cursing him. The hound ran into the village, seeking shelter in the tents and kennels. The other dogs snapped at him, and the tribe's people threw stones at him. Before the chief could reach him, the tribe had torn Hahaku apart. Now, what should you carry from this tale?
How you treat the least is remembered by the greatest.
True. Hahaku thought nothing of abusing the tribe and their dogs, but their complaints showed the chief he could not be trusted. But you're far too old now for an old woman to be reminding you to watch how you behave, hmm?
Thank you for the story. It was thoughtful of you.
It's a story worth repeating. That's all. Be off with you then. Tell your brother farewell before he rides off to war.
But I am going to wrap up here because I am getting pretty tired. It is pretty late. And this feels like a really good point to actually wrap up. So, let's save our game. Save. And we'll come in next time to finish Castle Highever. Bye!